All right, GladrapChannel. Just 10 minutes. Oh, 5 minutes. I'll make it as quick. Just tell me when you're done. Yeah. GladrapChannel, you're with Kevin Barry. Kevin, it's good to see you again. How you been?
Josh, I've been very well. I've just got out of quarantine 2 weeks in Christchurch, and now just focusing and concentrating on a big fight coming up on December the 12th.
Can you tell me a little bit of quarantine? So I know you were supposed to come in Auckland, and then the flight was redirected to Christchurch. How was that like? Did you get some time to prepare while you were in quarantine?
Well, you don't know until you actually land in Auckland where you're going to be quarantined. So as soon as the plane touched down, they said that this plane's going to Christchurch. So, during that time, I was working on a few on a few projects before I left Vegas, and I just continued working on them. I had an exercycle brought in. I did a little bit of shoulder strengthening work with some dumbbells that I also had delivered to the hotel. All in all, it wasn't too bad. I had my wife and my son Taylor with me, so the 2 weeks went by pretty fast. And obviously, there was planning that I'd already put in place for the training camp before I left Vegas, and it was a matter of fine tuning that. I had an opportunity to watch a bunch more of Junior's fights, and that took up my time.
I think your plan was to keep Joseph fairly active this year. But then, obviously with the whole COVID situation, and then there's been a bit of, lockdown. So has this given Joseph maybe an opportunity just to sort of recover, just to rest, maybe heal up some niggles?
I think the COVID pandemic around the world is giving many fighters an opportunity to recover from injuries that they've never been able to actually totally heal. And a lot of fighters are going to come out of this pandemic with a new lease of life because being able to take care of injuries. Time and time again we see combat fighters working through injuries and never ever really recovering. For Joe was pretty healthy when he went into the pandemic. What it did do is it gave him a big opportunity to work on his strength, and this is something that he had wanted to do for a long time. He wanted to get on a serious strength program, and I think the results speak for themselves. We can see the size of his shoulders, his chest, his back, his arms, his legs. He's been squatting huge weights, and that excites him. And my big concern was always, when he'd say to me, "Oh, look, I've done a new personal best this week, coach," and I said, "Mate, as long as that hand speed is still there," he said, "it's still there." He said, "You'll see as soon as you land." And our first session was last Friday, and we did 12 rounds on the pads, and it's something we've never ever done for our first session. So he's not only is he in good shape and strong, but his body feels good and he's ready to go.
That's good, because especially it's with the break being so long, when you come back, you're kind of expecting what are you going to see? Is there a lot of work to do? But he looks, as you said, he looks super thick in the chest, super thick in the shoulders. So there's not much work, I guess. Is he around fight weight?
Oh, there's a lot of work to be done, But we're not talking about taking any weight off or anything like that, because he's very, very close to his fight weight. Yeah. The most important thing for me was that he was fit when I arrived. So about 4 weeks ago, we started doing 10-round sessions on the heavy bag. Throughout this pandemic, when Joe would FaceTime me, like on a weekly basis, he'd rip the shirt off and, "Look, coach, how do I look?" And I went, "Mate, you look awesome," and he was proud of the way he looked, and he'd been very careful with his diet. He'd been training hard. So these are all things that excited me, and I knew and I was expecting him to be in shape, but it was good to actually get that opportunity to give him a big hug and get a visual and actually see for myself, Joe understands the significance of this fight. This is a big fight for New Zealand. This is a fight that will mean a lot to the winner moving forward. And I said to Joe, "Look, you won the world title, you defended it twice, but if you lose this big New Zealand fight, this is the fight that people will remember," and he understands that.
You keep saying the stars have aligned, and in a way I kind of agree with you. In a way it is the perfect fight. Like Junior is ranked number 6, Joe is ranked number 2. If they win, 3, yes, sorry, 3. Daniel Dubois. Yeah. So that just means that if they win this fight, I mean, there's maybe one more fight, and then there's a strap.
The winner of this fight's in a very strong position for a mandatory fight.
Yeah. So my question is, can you just elaborate more, like how this is the perfect fight? I mean, the backgrounds, the amateur rivalry. If you could just elaborate a little more.
Well, more than anything, the fact that it is so unusual for us to have two fighters ranked in the top 6 in any heavyweight world sanctioning body. So for Joe to be sitting there at number 3 and for Junior at 19-0 at number 6, this is a very big fight with a lot of significance, and the stakes could not be higher. If Junior if he can get up and beat Joseph Parker in this fight like he did twice in the amateurs, this is life-changing for him. That will put him either in a box-off or a mandatory. It'll put him straight into a very big fight, a lucrative fight. For Joseph Parker, he must win this fight to continue on his path of fighting for the world title again. And if we don't get the right result, it's going to be very difficult coming back.
Not only that, but the backgrounds, the pride of Tonga versus the favorite son of Samoa, it has a lot at stakes, right? The amateur rivalry, as you said, it's the perfect fight.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of history in this fight, and there's a lot of ways of looking at it. But really what it comes down to now, it comes down to an 8-year professional Joseph Parker, who's battle-hardened, very experienced. He's widely considered in the top half a dozen elite heavyweights in the world, fighting, a fighter, a 4-year pro like Junior Fa, who is not the finished product, and we don't know how good Junior's going to be, and we don't know when it comes down to a real big challenge like this, what he can deliver.
Just last question. So, Joseph's the big star in this one. He's the former world heavyweight champion. He's defended the belt twice. He has all the big names on his record. But, these guys have history, right? So they fought twice. And the last fight that, Joseph and Junior had, that cost them the shot at the Olympics.
Right.
So what do you think Junior Fa's confidence levels are going into this fight? Do you think he's afraid of Joe? No,
I tell you what, and I don't believe that Junior's afraid. And I know the fact that they've shared a ring 4 times, Junior's looked in Joe's eyes before. He's seen them up close, and I don't believe he is afraid. And that's what makes this, such a dangerous fight. A fight that is a very serious challenge for both guys, and a great fight for the New Zealand public.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kevin. Thanks for your time. Thank you.